treaty is called what in Uganda? Okujanjaba. Okwewala n'okuyamba omubiri okusobola okwerwanako. There are only 4 ways. Now, when the virus descended on us, we discussed among ourselves, we compared notes with the whole world, and we found that we had only two ways for now. And that was to avoid, and fortunately, unlike AIDS, to help the body fight the virus. Now, how did we advise you to avoid? Number one, we said put on masks. Because fortunately, when you put in a mask, even if you have the virus, it doesn't go far. It is blocked. If you come too near, it may get you, but if you are at a distance, it will not get you, because the mask will block the droplets on which it rides. Secondly, keep social distance. Don't say, don't be near, let's not be near. Otampika. Thirdly, don't touch your eyes, don't touch your nose, don't touch your mouth with unclean hands. Because those are the only 3 entry points to the body. In fact, this disease is a bit easier to deal with than some of the other diseases. And then fourthly, clean the surfaces, because it can remain on the surface, the tables and so on. So this is how we advised you to avoid the disease. Now, by avoiding the disease, the few who get infected were able, or who got infected in the case of Uganda, were able to be assisted to fight the virus, because there were few. There were not many. Since we started, it's almost 4 months now. We have had only a total of 1,000 and I think 60. I will give the figure later. Only those. And because there were, and we've got so many hospital beds which are not used. You saw in the films here, many parts in the world don't have beds. All the beds are full. These people are speaking in English because you like to speak English. So there you are. If they were speaking in Yankora, I would be worried that you didn't understand. But they were speaking in your language. So they were saying clearly that in many parts of the world, there are so many sick people that the beds are not there. That's what they were saying in your language, English language. Because of the firm steps we took, that's why we ended up with smaller numbers, much less than the beds, and because of that, we were able to, our health workers were able to work on them, and they have recovered. I will give you the figures later. Now, because of that, I want to congratulate you, the Ugandans, because you listened to our message, you listened to it, And because of that, 250,000 people, 250,029 have been tested, and out of those, only 1,072 by yesterday, 20th, had proved positive. Only 1,072. And because the cases were few, our health workers who have sacrificed so much, those health workers have stayed in the hospital without going home for now 4 months. People don't see their family, they are there in the health workers, because I check on them. They don't go home. Because they need to be very, 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 very alert, because any slight mistake, he himself can be infected. So unfair, the carelessness of the public and those who push the public to be careless are really enemies of the people of the world. You are first and foremost enemy of the health workers. You can imagine health workers just risk their life. The man is healthy, he has got a family, but he has got to look after people who are careless. And he can lose his own life because of that. And they get so much strain because of having to take so many precautions. Put on this, put on this, put on this. It's very, very, very dangerous. I know this because we used to use bombs. With bombs, you make a mistake once in your life. You will never have a chance to make a second one. You will die. This is the same with some of these epidemics. We lost Dr. Rukia in the north from Ebola. So when we are begging people, please be careful. We are not only begging you to be careful for the sake of others who are innocent. Doctors were trained to deal with the normal cases, giving birth, treating malaria. Now, when you have got something so dangerous, it is really the duty of everybody. When I see people who are playing around, I really don't get amused. I don't have a good opinion of such people. Because you are not only endangering yourself, you are endangering others. So out of this 1,072 who became positive, 958 have been healed and have been discharged. The ones still in medical care are 114 as of yesterday. I therefore, and we also had foreigners who were coming here who were positive, especially the drivers, 1,369. But these were returned to their countries. But there are some who were treated here and they recovered, and these were 137. And we have had no death. Not a single death. I therefore congratulate you, the people of Uganda. This is a remarkable achievement for which I'm very happy. Praised be the Lord God, and congratulations to Ugandans for fighting this war. In the fight, we were science-led. We were science-led. We were led by science. Science means understanding the nature well. That's what science is about. So when our scientists analyzed this disease, we could see where the danger was and where the opportunity was. And that's what guided us. Now, we had this virus, but we had also to support life. We could not say because of the virus, we abandoned all activities, because those activities are the ones which support us. The question, however, was what social, economic, and spiritual activities can we safely undertake? That was the question. Which activities, economic ones, social ones, spiritual ones, can we undertake safely? On the one hand, we need to do activities that we normally do, but which ones of them can we do safely? At the same time, avoid this sickness. Fortunately, since this virus mainly spreads like many viruses do, where there is overcrowding. Where there is overcrowding. I told you that before the Europeans came, our ancestors defeated smallpox, or muse, by the same methods. The last smallpox epidemic was in 1893, before the Europeans came here. But our people defeated it by some of the measures like we are telling you today. And those ones include avoiding crowding. Because when you crowd, you make the disease spread faster. So therefore, we looked at the activities. Which activities that do not involve crowding? Fortunately, we had agriculture. Agriculture, our type of agriculture especially, is in the homesteads. The homesteads are scattered. Each family is by itself. Whether you are in crops, or in livestock, or in fishing, you are spread across the country. So we said agriculture should continue because doesn't have much risk from this disease. But don't come to the towns, you just stay where you are. Then we said even the factories could continue. That time we said provided the workers stay, camp near the factory. That's what we started with. But later on we relaxed that because we knew that the factory people are known. There are 200, you know them. Museveni, Rugunda, they are always working here. Even when they go home, you know where they stay. As long as they don't go to bars and so on, they go from work to home, you can easily trace them. Even if there is even if some of them are infected, you can trace who they are because they are known. You know them here, where they are working. Maybe you know how they are going home. You know the people they have at home. It is easy to follow them up. So we said the factories later on factory workers can go home, come and work and go home because they are traceable. The people on the construction sites who were constructing things, we said those could continue. Then on the food markets, the markets, we separated them. We said in this type of crisis, what you need most is food. As long as food is there, other things can come later. So let's make sure there is food. So the food markets should remain open. But other people who are not food sellers, please get out of the markets. Because without separating the food sellers and the non-food sellers, you could not ensure the social distancing, the one we talked about. You could not say Tonsemberera, when you have got people who are selling food, the ones who are selling ebikoi, the ones who are selling I don't know what, selling cattle, things that have nothing to do with food. So we said no, the markets should only remain for food. Other people stay out. Then on the social side, then on the services side, we said hospitals must remain open. Of course, security forces and so on, a number of what we call essential services should remain open. Then on the social side, we said the marriages should continue, but should continue scientifically. Scientifically means you just bring people who are necessary in the marriage. Recently, I married off one of my children, and I chased off all the irrelevant people because we were conducting a legal operation, and the leader of the legal operation was Archbishop Kazimba with the 2 priests. Those were 3. On my side, we were 9, including Mama and 7 others. On the other side, there were 7. The whole of ceremony went on legally and spiritually, and the only thing we missed was the crowd, which normally comes on our usual weddings. That's the only thing we missed. But spiritually and legally, everything was perfect. That daughter of mine is now legally and spiritually married, and gone. This was the other weekend. So we said the social, let them be scientific. Scientific means just bring the necessary people. The barriers, the same. That's what we said. Then cargo transport. Cargo transport also was very crucial. You remember there was a debate about that. Some people even wanted to stop the cargo. I said, no, this one is so vital. There's no way you can stop cargo. So that's what we did that time. We said these ones, the rest, halt, suspend, but these must continue. Now later on, after careful study, we added passenger vehicles. After some weeks, we added passenger vehicles, provided they observed what we called SOPs, standard operational procedures. Don't have full load, don't do this, don't do that. And public transport resumed. Then we also resumed restaurants. Restaurants and hotels were allowed to operate, provided they observed the SOPs. Then shops also. Shops, the standalone shops, but also the shopping malls were allowed to operate, provided they follow the SOPs. Now, because of that, that's why we are where we are. After 4 months of enemy attack, only 1,072 people were infected, and 900 and something, more than 900 of them have been healed and gone away, and nobody has died. Now, it seems some people are not happy with this. They are saying, why are Ugandans not dying? They are not happy. They are not happy. So, they come with all sorts of untested ideas. This one, this. But this is no problem. Any activity can take place provided it can be done safely. That's the issue. It's not anything else. It's not that we have got fitna against anybody or we are careless. No. Only that we don't want you to kill our people because you are looking for money. Money. At the beginning, we said, please, all these things are important. Money is important, business is important, but life is number one. Anything that threatens life, we are not going to accept. We are not going to accept. So that's why everything we do, I involve the scientists, our scientists. Fortunately, you are lucky, you have got very good scientists. This education, which we started was actually started by the British. But when we came, we ballooned it. It became so big, so many universities. You have got very good people, very good scientists. And that's why I would like you to agree to my idea of paying them well, instead of paying storytellers. You should pay these scientists well. But people don't always accept my ideas. I'm always fighting as if I'm fighting to weed my garden or what. Always begging this one, begging that one, begging that one. But scientists should be paid. Well, these scientists can do a lot for this country. Now, after these people, whenever anything comes, you study it because they are there. But I'm beginning to hear some people attacking scientists. You can go to hell if you attack our scientists. I will tell you to go to hell because you are an enemy of our country. And we are not going to, we have fought many wars, we shall fight also with you. These are people who are looking for nothing. They just use their knowledge to say, this one is this one is, why should anybody be hostile to them? Why? In one of the other centuries, 15 something, there was a pope, His Holiness the Pope. I don't remember his name. You can go and look for it on the internet. There was a scientist called Galileo. In the past, people used to think that the earth was flat. They didn't know. They thought it was like a table. But this scientist, I don't know how he studied it, Galileo. He said, no, the earth is not round, it is not flat, it is round. And I think he even pointed out that it is the sun, the earth which is going around around the sun. But this Pope, I think, even hanged Galileo. Oh, imagine. The man who was right was hanged by an ignorant pope. So, humility by people is very, very important. If a country wants to survive, listen to the people who know. And these scientists happen to know some of these things of science. So therefore, after we had resolved the other issues, the ones I've mentioned, I said, now you study the others. There's been the issue of the arcades. And of course, people also should, when you have got bapakasi, if you have got potters, you should always remember that don't give them too much work. So these scientists, I don't give them too much work. I give them some work. You study this first. And once they have done it well and finished, then we will move. So after we have finished the other activities, the ones that I talked about, like the restaurants, the shopping malls, then I said, you study these others. They have now come with their conclusions. They studied the arcades. Now, these arcades, they found had a lot of problems. First of all, they are enclosed. Secondly, they have got corridors between, I don't know, between what and what. Between, I think, different subunits. Those corridors are called the Bikubo. Now you had people sitting in the Bikubo, in the corridors. People were sitting there. You had too many people sitting inside one shop, sitting on the veranda, sitting on the steps, sitting on the roadsides, in front of these arcades. So these scientists have now studied this and produced a report. And we have now decided, on the advice of the scientists, that we can open these arcades, some of the arcades, not all, provided they have the following. Number one, temperature guns. These are things which measure people's overall musujja, whether you have got a fever. Social distancing. Tonsembere must be observed. Hand washing. No traders, no people in the corridors, in the Bikubo. No people there. A corridor is a corridor, it's not a shop, it's not. No traders on the verandas. No traders on the steps or the roadsides. They must also keep records. Everybody who buys there must be recorded. Yoweri Museveni, ID card number this, of Rwakitura, or Nakasero, whichever address you want. Why do we need this record must be in the book? And why do we need the record? In case you get sick, the shop fellow, the shop seller, we need to know which people you have interacted with, so that we can follow them up. That's why we need a record. The shoppers also must social distance. The sellers, social distance inside. Abakora mu duka ezo, but you know, kweshanda, this is the Nyankore one for Binja part. But also the shoppers who come in shop, they must have social distance. They don't come to, no. You arrange them, they come. No air conditioning. No air conditioning. Because air conditioning is what causes problems in Europe and the US, that they are advanced. That advancement that does not respect nature is part of the problem. I never use air conditioning. I think the air conditioning in your government house in Entebbe, I switched it off long ago. So that air conditioning is very dangerous because it is the one which is circulating the virus. Everybody must put on masks. Everybody, the shop assistants, the shoppers must all put on masks. Enough toilets. Enough toilets. If you have got an arcade which does not have enough toilets, we shall close it permanently. Because there is no reason why you should create a disease-causing unit in the town here. If you are looking for money, then look for money safely. And I don't know whether they resolve even the issue of paying for going to the toilet. I don't know whether that has come up, because that was a big issue at one time. Now, apparently, in Kampala there have been 230 arcades. Well, these arcades, I wanted to find out what they sell. What do these arcades sell? Whose products do they sell? I was told at one time they were selling Chinese products. That's their job. Their job was to make us a market of China. Those are arcades. And Kasita Group, this Sekito. Their job, their historical mission is to make sure that Uganda is a market of China, is a market of India, is a market of Dubai. And we have been advising, I even called them to Entebbe, I said, please, you people, it's really amazing because Chinese, when you go to, I was somewhere in the industrial area recently, Namamvi. The other time I was in Kapeka. And the Chinese in Kapeka told me, we started importing ceramic tiles here. And we saw there was a big market, so we decided to make the factory of ceramic markets here. The Chinese, when he imports 1 year, 2 years, and he says there is a good market, he builds a factory here. And that was what I saw the other day. I was also visiting another factory in Nama of Chinese. The same idea that there was, I think there was bringing, I don't remember what, the one I visited last, bring some. Once they saw the market was there, they built a factory here. Now, these Arcades fellows have been Osaka from China for 30 years. To buy from China, never thinking of building a factory here. There's a problem there. There's a problem there. We cannot go on being a market of other people. So these Arcades should shift and sell our products. I don't mind if they are selling our products. Products made here. Because those products, when it is made here, it creates jobs for your children. And so was our pocket support now the jobs of Chinese. When you buy Chinese products, you are supporting jobs for the Chinese children in China. And then you are crying here that our people have no jobs. So although we are opening these arcades and the other ones, the shopping malls and all that, please start working to produce many of the products you are selling. If you know that there is a market, a big market here, then produce those products here. There was a man called Kashwada of Ujir. It used to be called Ujir. A Chinese man, a Japanese. You can imagine this man, Kashwada. He came here first time in 1955. He told me the story. He's now old. He has gone back to Japan, I think. I don't know. He came here in 1955. How did you come? 1955. He said, I was a young salesman. I was taking shots to Bangkok, Thailand. He would go from Japan with the shots to Bangkok. And there he met Africans who were buying those shots in big numbers and taking them away. Then imagine a Japanese. He got curious, but these Africans who buy so many shots, where do they come from? He found they were from Uganda. Uganda. Let me go to Uganda. He came to Uganda here. And then he went up to Masaka. He found all the shots he was selling in Bangkok were now being sold here in Uganda. That's how, after independence, he came and set up a factory, the Ujir factory. Because he had seen there is a big market, and because of that, his answer was to set up a factory. But our people, the answer is Osaka indefinitely. This is not acceptable. That group of people are breeders. They are bleeding us, taking blood out of us to give to other people. So anyway, those arcades, apparently in Kampala there are 230. 171 have been inspected. Only 110 are compliant. And those are the ones that will be allowed to open. The others must fulfill the requirements. Then we come to the salons. Our grandchildren is garages for hair. Mine is all right. It doesn't need. Mine is handled by Mama. Mama just. But the other day, I was actually worried about salons. how would you manage to keep people from infecting one another with saloons? But the other day I spoke to one of the saloon people, Mrs. Masoro. Apparently she's the wife of one of our people. And she educated me. She said, don't worry. We shall be like doctors in the hospital. Aren't your doctors treating corona people? I said, yes. How are they doing it? They dress up. They put on gloves. They put on masks. I said, but the masks are not foolproof. The breath can get out of many of these masks. So he said, no, we shall add what they call face shield. Oh, so it will be like, she told me, it will be like a dentist. Dentists are attending to people's teeth safely. I said, okay, if you can protect yourself and protect the client, that's wonderful. Then my next question to her was, but how about the clients? Because you are protected yourself against the client, and the client is protected because the client is also putting on a face mask. The client is putting on a face mask. You are putting on a face mask and a shield. But then between the client and the client, the social distancing. So I was happy to see that there could be an answer to that. So therefore, we are also going to open the saloons, provided they ensure masks for everybody and face shields for the operators, the surgeons. Bari abasawo bakora kumviri. Because it is also science, I don't know what they do with the hair to take it from African to Indian. It's quite a science. It's quite a science. So they will put on face shields. They will then there will be temperature guns to check the temperature of everybody who comes in. Social distancing for the operators. So those specialists in hair science, they will have to have, if you have got a number of them, they have distance between themselves. And then the clients also have distance between themselves. No air conditioning, just natural airing. In the towns, you may even have to have partitioning in the towns, but in the rural areas, they may not have so many clients, so you can have some variations. Hand washing, etc. So the Minister of Health will work out SOPs for these saloons so that they can open safely. Now, Boda Bodas, I was really worried about Boda Bodas. And even today I was meeting some of my Boda Bodas. I was not sure that we could find a solution. Because the Boda Boda, these are two people. Some people even put three. How will you ensure that the other one doesn't affect the other one? But your scientists have come up with a solution. When Dr. Jane Achen reported to me in the afternoon, he said, no, we have found a solution. What is the solution? He said, don't worry. The rider is already putting on a mask. But a mask the lawyer can go through, and because I normally see this lawyer when I put it on, when I have my spectacles, I see mist forming, you know, my spectacles. My spectacles don't see properly. But now, apparently, what we had not, I think, zeroed on was that in addition to the mask, the Boda Boda fellow will put on a helmet. And the helmet is really covering the face. Covering the face and enclosing the mask inside. Oh, it's okay. And then this other one behind is having a mask. So they said it was all right. That's what you told me. So, since it is they now think, no, but you must also have a records book. The Boda Boda must record everybody he transports. Owa Boda Boda alina okuwandiika buli musaabaze yenna gwasaabaza bakweta okusaabaza. Alina okuwandiika erinnya lye, essimu ye, endangamuntu ye. Why? In case if the Boda Boda tests gets sick, we want to know how many people he was in contact with, and we go for them. So we need this record. But the Boda Boda fellows also now need to be organized. Kuno kulundikana to be in one place. No, so they must. The Minister of Transport is going to give them stages where they can work from. So therefore, the Boda Bodas will open on the 27th of July. The others, the saloons, the arcades, it is immediate from tomorrow. But the borders will be allowed to operate again to carry passengers. They have been carrying cargo. But I think I hear the cargo went down when we opened for public transport. It went down. But now they can resume. And they must clean the seats. When the passenger goes, you sanitize the seat with a sanitizer. And also they should have temperature guns. I don't know whether they can afford or they can be at the stage or what. I don't know how they. You will see how to help them with that. But I don't think individually they will learn. So now that it is with the, I'm very happy to find really the scientists found something for the borders, because me, I was not sure that there was a way. In fact, I was beginning to think of encouraging them to go to helping them to go to other activities. But fortunately, if there is a way, then this is good now. Now, then the issue of curfew. I've been getting feedback from people saying that this curfew of 7 is making things quite difficult for people. So therefore, we have decided that the curfew ends at 9 in the night, at 9. 2100 hours. That is when the curfew starts. Curfew starts at 9. Starts za usiku and ends at 5:30. From 9 in the night to 5:30. But the Boda Bodas, must stop at 6. The border borders, because the border borders were being used for crime. Those ones I will not allow them to operate in the night because they were being used for crime. And until they clean themselves of all criminals, they should stop at 6. They were stopping at 5 now. They can now go up to 6 and stop. Now, so that leaves us with the churches, because the churches also have been, talking of opening, but of course you know that the churches attract a lot of people from different sources. So I have asked the scientists to continue discussing with them, with the church leaders, how they think it can be done safely. Let's look for how it could be done safely. But for now, I think let's maintain what we have been doing, the status quo, and they discuss with the scientists, and we see how, because some people have been talking of some few people per session. Let the scientists discuss with the interreligious council all those issues, and once they agree with the scientists, I will be very happy to support it. Now the schools, we shall have to make a big decision before September, because third term is starting in September. We are studying, we are watching the situation, because the numbers of the schools are so big and crowded in our school systems. It's really something that we need to handle with a lot of care. Toward the end I will say something, but for now, we are now going to put a lot of emphasis on the distance learning, which we agreed on some weeks ago. That is providing radios. We are meeting this afternoon with the Minister of Education and the Minister of Finance. Some money has been identified to start buying the radios for the 9 million families, so that the teaching through radios continues. But before September, we shall have to make a big decision, either to open some of the schools, maybe the candidate classes, or to declare a dead year, or whatever. But let's not rush. Let's continue studying. Something may come up, something I don't want to, because you see, if we get a vaccine on which the world is working so hard, including ourselves, we are not sleeping. I have made it clear that Uganda for sure will not be left out of the scientific race for vaccine. We shall be there. Whether others are there first before us or we are there first, we shall also be there. We shall no longer be here like maggots waiting for other people to come and treat us, to look for medicine. If you don't look for medicine, we shall die as if they owe us a living. Where you say, If you don't do this, I will not do it. Now imagine Africans, also against Europeans. If you don't bring medicine, we shall die. And we are comfortable sitting here, waiting for the Europeans to either get the medicine or we shall die. If you don't bring the medicine, you Europeans, we are going to die. So you bring the medicine quickly. I'm not part of that group. We shall get the medicine ourselves. Yeah. Or if the others get it before us, we shall also be there with them. So our teams are working on both the vaccine, not both. They are working on the vaccines, on the diagnostics, and on the treatment, on the medicine. The Banyankole say, "Agoga enu gabtosa." The water you thought was not enough may be the one which does a lot of work. So that's why I don't want to say we declare a dead year now. What if we get a vaccine? Because the vaccine, our children can go back with their overcrowding, with their what? What if we get a treatment? Or what if the present treatments are refined? Because these treatments which we are using to support the body, to defeat the virus, although what they are using, it doesn't kill the virus, but it supports the body to fight the virus better. What if we refine them better? Then we shall have no worry. We shall say, go back. If you get sick, we shall treat you. So that's why I don't want. Let's give ourselves this month and concentrate on the alternative learning, on the long distance learning. As we watch things in August, then we shall decide. We shall announce. Now that's mainly for the government schools, but the private schools have got particular problems. The private schools, private institutions, you know, these ones depend mainly on the money brought by the learners. So when the learners are not there, the institution cannot stand. So they really have problems. And yet, there are people who had helped us, because I was asking them, how many teachers are there in the private schools? 350,000. If you count the ones in the pre-primary, in the primary, in the secondary, in the tertiary. There are 350,000 young Ugandans employed as teachers by those private schools. This is not to count other jobs, cleaners, what have you. So therefore, really the government cannot ignore, just keep aloof and say you are private, shauri yako. No, that's not correct. So they met the minister and they were talking about a number of problems which they are having. First of all, they have loans with banks. We are going to study these loans. What can we do to about the loans? Can they be taken over by UDB, for instance, and get off this, because normally these are loans from commercial banks, which are really exploiters of borrowers. We shall study that. We are going to study it. NSSF, the contribution. They're supposed to contribute to NSSF. But this one can really be suspended. You cannot say they contribute when they were not earning. I think for this month, when they were not earning, they should not contribute to NSSF. We have already started discussing with the Minister of Finance. Salaries, these young Ugandans are not getting paid now. But when I looked at the number, they are so big, it's not a small amount of money. So what can be done? We are also going to discuss that. Because if there are 350,000, even if you are to say, even 1 month, I tried to use my calculator to calculate. Even if you are paying 500,000 per person, that's 175 billion for 1 month. To pay them, to pay that additional group. 1 month of 500,000 per person is 175 billion. If you are to say, we support the private people for 6 months, the money will be almost 7 trillion, like 1/3 of the budget of Uganda. But what can be done? How do we help the private, these young Ugandans? Does the government pay them a quota? Does it pay them? Does it help what? We are going to sit down and think and see how we can help them. Some of the private of these education institutions are in rented buildings. But what can we do about the rent? I think there we can only encourage the landlords to be reasonable. But I wouldn't like to really to go into that to say we pay for you or what. I think that would be too much. But what we can look at is UDB to start funding some of especially the infrastructure, the structures. If a college is building a building, UDB can lend them money because this is something definite which can. And microfinance, I would direct microfinance center to give SACCOs, to give loans to the staff SACCOs, so that they can access that money and build themselves. Even me, I'll contribute 2 billion shillings to the SACCO of the private schools teachers. I'm trying to look for things which one can do without collapsing yourself, because I don't want to be like the woman who tried to be praised by her husband, and then the woman said, "My dear husband, you come and I carry you on your back, an old person. You come and I carry you on my back because I love you so much. You come and carry you on my back, an old person." So the man came and tried to go on the back of the woman. But because the man was an old person with long legs, the long legs upset the grinding stone, and all the millet poured on the floor. So I don't want to really do what is impossible, what I cannot do. But what is possible, like the NSSF, like this one, we can do. And we shall also see how we can, because the private schools had done a good job, but this Salon has come Yeah. Now, for the mobile markets, our scientists are still talking with these people. Let them continue talking. We may get some solution. Then the international airport will remain closed until the situation abroad settles down, because there's so much chaos in some of these foreign countries. I don't want to expose. I know we are losing a lot of money because of tourism, but the Banyankole say amagara gakira magana. Life is better than wealth. Health is better than wealth. So the airport will remain closed, and so are the borders. Borders will remain closed also. So I would like really to encourage Ugandans, when we're having a crisis like this, it's like a test. It's like a test. I think God brought this to test us, to see whether we are people who care about our country. If you say that because you are looking for money, you don't care whether people die or not, I cannot agree with you. Fortunately, I am also an economic actor. I'm not an idle person. I am a cattle keeper. And we cattle keepers repeatedly, not once, not twice, suffer a lot of losses because of calamities. Like, for instance, a disease called foot and mouth. This foot is called karusu in Uganda. This foot and mouth, when it comes, they put us under quarantine. Like, we were under quarantine for 3 years because some cows came from Tanzania and we were put under quarantine. And we couldn't sell milk, we couldn't sell beef, but we had to accept, because you see, the logic is, if you don't quarantine, these cows will go and infect other cows. Not human beings, but cows. But that will cause economic loss, because if you have foot and mouth, other countries will not allow you to export beef, will not allow you to export milk or butter or ghee. So because of the country, for us, we suffer loss. And we accept it. The other year, we had what they call avian flu. A disease came from Asia, Asia. Those diseases are always coming from somewhere. That avian flu came. It actually did not kill many chickens, but some birds which were flying through Uganda died near Nabugabo. Oh, Uganda was closed. We could not sell poultry to Kenya, eggs, what they closed us off. Avian flu kills chicken, but it also kills people. So we have to accept the quarantine. The swine fever, these pigs also get fever sometimes. And I think that fever affects people also. And they come and kill the pigs. They come and kill them actually. The other time when there was the mad cow disease in the world, cows were killed. So therefore, people who have been saying that because of economy, this is a wrong argument. Economy cannot be at the expense of people. Then others make a false argument, which is, but if I don't get my business, I may also die because of poverty, because of this. Yes, but for you, if the chicken has a problem, the Baganda have a name called Mukasa. Mukasa is a very well-known name among our Baganda people. This Mukasa was Rware Wenyanja, is the guardian spirit of the lake. But Mukasa in Runyankore is called Mugasha. He was a Mutwezi from Zimbabwe area. But when he went to the islands, I think the cows died in Zimbabwe. He went to the islands, he became a fisherman, became Mukas. So I can change activity if I've got an activity which has a problem, like they say, border borders, there's no way. I'm glad that you have found a solution. But suppose we have found no solution, where the border borders could operate without causing us a problem. Then the logic would be, okay, let's help these people to go to another activity. So there is flexibility. There is flexibility in enterprise selection. If this enterprise has a problem, you can shift. But death is finished. You are dead. There is no option. There is no alternative. You are dead. This one is irreversible. You cannot compare the irreversible with the optional. I am doing what I am doing. If it has got a problem which cannot be solved, I can shift to another one. So please, I don't want people to compare uncomparables. There's no comparison between this pandemic with anything else. With anything else, there's no comparison. This should not be to say. I have been hearing some people saying, but people can die because of economic. Economic is those activities which are causing infection are not. It's not all activities. Today I was discussing with the Boda Boda. They were saying, okay, but for now, some of the people have gone back to the villages to cultivate. So don't compare uncomparables, because it confuses our people. You equate things which are not equatable. I cannot equate survival with opportunity. If I lose one opportunity, I can look for another one. But if I am dead, if I'm not there, then all opportunities are shut to me. So really, as leaders, we ought to be very, 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 very thorough in our logic. Now, this selfishness is really not acceptable, and in some cases we would have to confront it. Now here, you remember some people had destroyed the lake by bad fishing. They were making money. They were making money by catching young fish, taking it to Congo and selling it. They were making money and building new buildings here. But they were doing it in such a selfish way that they were destroying the opportunities of the country. And the UPDF confronted them. We had left it to the fisheries, I don't know whatever they call them. Then police, the lake had perished. Our fishing industry had perished. Then I put in the UPDF. This is now what is in that lake. This is a Nile patch, which is, this particular one is 87 kilograms. It is heavier than me now. Because now I'm at 76. So this Nile patch is heavier than me now. But it can grow to 300 kilograms, apparently. And I have got a study which says that Uganda can get a minimum of $156 billion a year from this Nile patch. Apparently, what they are taking now is the meat. The meat of the Nile patch is not the most important. It is the bladder. The bladder, what they call enuni. The bladder that has got special quality. The bladder which helps it to float in the water. The bladder. It is so expensive. A kilo is 10 million shillings. And one mature importer can give you 3 kilos. So that bladder of this importer can get you 30 million shillings equivalent, which is like, how many dollars? Like, is it 30,000 or No.
About $9,000.
Oh, $9,000. One bladder of this one here. So therefore, I was looking at the figures. Saudi Arabia, from oil, gets $110 billion a year. For us, from the enuni of the Nile patch, we can get $156 billion. More money than all the money Saudi Arabia gets from oil. So therefore, I don't want to hear selfish people. These are enemies of our future. The one who says, I want this, I don't care what happens. No, you must care. If you don't care about our country, we don't care about you. You must, this we confront it everywhere. In fishing, I don't care. I'm just getting what I want myself. I don't care about. You must care. If you don't care about our country, you should go to another country. You cannot spoil the ones who are destroying forests, the ones who are destroying wetlands. They don't care. They don't care. What he cares is what he gets himself, even if it is at the expense of the whole country. This is not acceptable. So therefore, on this, what we are doing now, I'm glad we are getting a solution, win-win solution, where the private person, operator, is all right, but does not damage us. Does not damage us. That's a minimum. There is no compromise on that. And those who are talking should always be mindful of that. Now, I have been hearing some people say, oh, we shall demonstrate, we shall riot. If you riot, we are also here, waiting for you. We shall deal with you. I've been hearing all sorts of opportunities. With foreigners, they're always with foreigners. You can go with your foreigners, we are here. We have been here since the time of the Batiembuzi, since the time of the Batrezi, the time of these new kings who came recently, these ones who are here, the Kabakas and all who are here. And you can plan whatever you plan, we shall crush you. Now, on the side of the economy, I forgot my newspaper of yesterday, the Kabushenga's paper. Finally, Kabushenga was writing good things about his country. He was pointing out that the exports of Uganda in May went up. Exports of gold, of coffee and so on, went up in May. He did not give the figures of June, but I think they are coming. Then he also pointed out that the shilling was appreciating, was gaining value from 3,700 to 3,600 something. So the economy, certain aspects of the economy are actually growing, and they are going to grow more. So I would like to thank especially the farmers and the manufacturers, because the farmers are producing more. I think our coffee exports have reached 7 million bags. This is the first time. The milk is too much. The maize, the bananas. Now, people are worried. So where shall we? The sugar cane and sugar. People are worried. So where shall we send these products? First of all, that's what we always tell you. But in terms of politics, work for the politics of East Africa, for the integration of East Africa. Well, if East Africa integrates, and Central Africa, Congo, other parts of Africa, if we integrate, we solve the problem of uniting our markets. That's where our future lies. So those who come and talk about tribes, about religion, those are just your enemies. You have now seen it for yourself. Who is to buy your bananas? Who is to buy your milk? Who is to buy your sugar cane? Who is to buy your maize? Everything you produce needs bigger and bigger markets. But in the meantime, like for instance for the milk, there are markets other than the Uganda market, the East African market, there are other markets. For instance, there is this market in Algeria, where they consume 3.8 billion liters of milk per year. And I'm told that they import a lot of that from outside. So we're already in touch with the Algerian government on this issue about us selling our especially powdered milk to Algeria. Morocco, they consume 1.8 billion liters. Nigeria, 1.3 billion liters. This is 1.3 billion, they say, tons. That's much. So there are these markets which we are working on. The people of sugar, leta miwani yangu, for instance, maize. We have a lot of maize which is not bought, but at the same time, you find that Uganda is importing animal feeds. Animal feeds are from maize. I can see here, Uganda imported $21 million worth of animal feeds. We are going to support our youth groups to produce these animal feeds so that we don't have to import any animal feed.